So today I have a couple things to talk about. One is I'm going to show you what I'm working on. This is a kind of quilt that I just love to do. Now some people will call these crumb quilts or improv quilts. Let me show you. This is the quilt I'm working on. And this quilt, what you're seeing is that when I have lots of scraps, let me show you some more on the bottom. There's a couple things I have going on here. I really like to work with, sometimes I'm working with stripes. So I took some of these, this kind of quilting is all about when I go into my sewing room, I just want to sit down and start quilting and not think. So this one is stripes that I cut pretty close to the same size. Doesn't have to be, I like the more uneven look. This is just stripes of colors that match. These were some bunches of little pieces that I just sewed together like crumb quilts and then cut them into strips so you can see the quilt goes stripes, strip, stripes, strip, all the way down. And then to show you up close, you can see. And so that is really just quilting it as it comes out of your scrap bag, scrap box, whatever you have, and just seeing what happens. That I absolutely love. And so then when I have put this all together, it makes a really colorful, happy quilt. Now I've made a bunch of these just because I have to do it. And I can never stop. I don't know why. I made a bunch of them, and this time my mom, since I'm at her house, she said, can you make that for me? Because she doesn't have one yet. But now I want to show you is the big stitch quilting that I put on it. This particular quilt, you could put just straight line quilting on your sewing machine. You don't need anything fancy because it's all going to disappear anyway. But since I'm up here and I need some handwork while I'm up here helping my folks, then I have gone ahead and started just putting lines of big stitch. Gone different directions. This is totally play. Let's see. Oh, there's more this way. So here's some more here. Different colors, different directions, just whatever I want to do. It's that kind of quilt. This is the kind of quilt that when you have something you have stitched really big like that, it's nice and soft. This is going to be the kind that your grandma had. And so when I'm done with this one, I'll give it a good wash so it really shrinks up and is really nice and soft. So for those of you who really like kind of just crazy color, this is a very happy quilt. And like I said, when I'm tired, I can just do this. So I'm gonna find my spot here where I was quilting last. It's kind of not easy to do. And like I said, this is one that my Mom said she wanted one because she doesn't have any of these of mine, which I don't give these to people. They're not for everybody unless they ask for one, and then I give it to them. This is the hard part, finding that needle. It's here. There we go. So here's where my needle left off, and I'm just going to show you. This is exactly what I'm doing. This quilt is put together just like any quilt that is a batting, a top, and a backing. And when I am big stitching, I am using embroidery floss that is 2 strands. And I don't mark my quilt at all, especially for this kind of thing. I will just start quilting whatever looks good. Let me get my thimble out. Hang on a second. Uh-oh. My thimble has run off on me. Wait, I think I feel it. I hope not. Okay. Now I lost it again. Where is it? Okay. Well, we're going to do it without a thimble right now. So all you're doing is you're just taking one big bite and you're pulling through, down and up. Now you'll want to use a thimble. I don't have mine with me right now, but I definitely do, so that you can really push that. Sometimes, because for this type there's so many, now you can be, my stitches don't have to be super even. That's just part of my rules for myself. And so your stitches, you might like yours really even, but frankly, big and uneven just makes it more of a folk look. So you see how that's looking? And so this is the quilt I brought with me because I found out long ago that whenever you're visiting someone, either in a hospital or in my case, I'm staying with my folks for a while, taking just care of helping cook and things like that, then I need something, I need some handwork. And so it's really nice to have. This is one of the handwork pieces that I will pick up. It was ready to go. It was on my shelf. I had already started, I had already basted it with the batting and the backing, and then I had put it back on a shelf for later. Well, this was later. So this way I've got, not because I didn't know how long I'd be here, so I wanted to have a lot of sewing to keep me busy. And so I brought this quilt is pretty big. It's probably queen size. And so this is how you, that is how you do it. This is how you, let me show you here the end. So I'm at the end of my thread. When you're big stitching, this is one of the things you need to know. You don't put knots in your thread. What you're going to do is you're going to put your next stitch in, and I'm just going to, in between the layers, I'm going to push my needle over, and I'm going to come out over here. It doesn't go all the way to the back, and my hand back here can feel it, that it's not in the back, it's just in the batting. And I'm just going to pull it out, and I'm going to snip that piece off. And that way, the next time I'm sewing, my next strip will be down like this. It's going to stitch right on over it. It's going to hold that. I have never had a problem with these, with any of these coming out when I quilt, because I've had some, I've washed them a lot, and it's just not been a problem. But like I was saying, I learned long ago that when I'm visiting someone, I want a lot to work on. It's also one of the ways in which I learned early on. Years ago, I had an uncle who was very ill, and many of us, we visited him at the hospital, and he was there for quite a while, and then he was ill at home for quite a while, and it was a tough time. But it was one of my first times where I was helping take care of someone in the family. And to me, that's really important, to be able to help take care of each other. And so I learned a lot from my mom, because I would go with her. And she took, I'm gonna see where I start. When I start, I do the same thing. I might as well show you. When I start, I do the same thing. So I'm gonna start right here so you can see it. I am going to come in from this side, in between the layers, and I want to come up like here. So, whoops, just in between the middle, I'm going to come up here. I'm not going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to leave a piece. I'm going to do one back stitch, meaning I'm going to put that stitch behind. So it's like a back stitch on your sewing machine. And then I'm going to start going forward. That back stitch will hold it long enough so that you don't pull it out, and away you go. And I'm working on another line here. I hope you can see that. There we go. So as I said, so my mom, we were working on grandmother's flower garden, and that's what we were doing while we were at the hospital, and we were waiting with him for different results or different doctors were going to come in and see, and we were just spending some time with them. And so we could sit and just work on some hand work while we did it. We ended up making enough for a full quilt. And that was my first time when I realized how important quilting can be, as far as when you are, how therapeutic it can be. Because we're at a hospital. There's a lot of waiting, and it kept us busy, and it also just kept us calm. Quilting by hand is something that's just slow and easy. You don't have to do it fast. It's not meant to be. You know, it's simply just nice, good Zen therapy, just the way all of our quilting is. So now whenever I know that I'm going, well, when I'm going anywhere, that I'll be away from my home, I will have hand stitching with me of some sort, whether it is for, whether it's embroidery, or whether it's some big stitching, or whether it is some small foundation paper piecing, because that handwork comes in so handy when you're away from home, and it just kind of keeps you calm and focused, and who can't use some of that these days? Thanks for joining me.